What's up, everybody? It's ImmaLetYouFinish, show number 187 on the Pantheon Podcast Network, the number one music podcast network in the world,
the whole
globally.
World.
That's everywhere.
The whole damn world.
I will say this too.
The whole damn world.
Ever since we've been on Pantheon,
people are impressed, right?
Yeah.
I get people going, oh my God, you're on Pantheon? And I go like this, fake smoking a cigarette. Yes, I am.
I know people who work at different agencies and different things. And when I say I'm on Pantheon, they're like, oh, Pantheon's great. And I'm like,
they need merch. Don't you think Pantheon needs some merch?
Yeah.
I would wear it. I would need
like a good old Pantheon sweatshirt or something.
Anything,
would be really
a hat. I'm back into the baseball hats again.
Oh, are you having your baseball cap?
I'm having a baseball cap.
Can I just say, everywhere I see in Harlem is Knicks. I've never seen this much Knicks stuff.
Well,
we have been screaming the Knicks since the beginning and way before. But now, everywhere I turn,
everyone loves to jump on a train. Yeah, everybody likes to jump. Yeah,
they were always the Knicks fans in New York.
Yeah. We've always been there.
When I leave my house, it's like Knicks shorts, Knicks jackets.
Well, you know that bar down the street from me.
All the stores, Knicks. Yeah.
That bar down the street from me, which used to have a Nets thing, suddenly like, oh, look at us, we have the Knicks, which I understand because you want people to come in, but when the dust all settles, we'll know who was there and who wasn't there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think the Drake Kendrick thing might be over. You notice a calm in the atmosphere? And you know what the best revenge is? Having a number one single on the Billboard charts.
A number one single and the number 3, right?
He had number 3 with Euphoria,
which is this week currently. It's the new live number,
and then he has number 1 with Not Like Us, which is the bop, which is the one that people are doing all these dances to. And so I have to say, whatever you may think of Drake, whatever you may think of Kendrick, when you get the number 1 single, you've won. The streets have spoken.
Can I say what I think put the nail in the entire thing? I mean, those two going back and forth was one thing. But
it was entertaining, though.
But when he told Metro Boomin to just go play some drums, and then Metro Boomin
put out that BBL
Drizzy, which I'm fucking obsessed with because it has the nerve to be good.
I know.
It is such a fucking bop that I'll be in here sometimes. I was cleaning the bathroom the other day and I was like, BBL. I was like, you are really singing this out.
No, but that's the thing. At the end of all right, bitching back and forth, but at the end of the day, talent is going to win out. At the end of the day, it's all about capturing ears. I mean, reading about a beef doesn't do anything. And at the end of the day, you can argue about your wife, my kid, my this, my that. But if you shut the person up by putting out the best song, end of story. Because it's done. Drake has slithered back to his mansion, which seems to be like hovering with police activity all the time.
Like there's someone was shot, someone else. I'm not really into. You know?
No, not at all. No, we don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that. It's fun on wax. It's fun. Listen, like I said last week, 2 wealthy, really unsympathetic people.
Why is Kendrick? I'm being serious.
When I say unsympathetic, because you don't need to have sympathy for them. These are 2 very popular people fighting over dumb shit. Right. It's not about one being bad. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, there's nobody who you're like, oh my God, this is going to be so terrible for them. So neither of them are sympathetic.
Yeah, they'll all survive.
Everybody will be fine. No one's going to not sell concert tickets. You know what I mean? No one's not going to have a hit album. So it's not like one is destroyed. It's not like when 50 Cent put his foot on Ja Rule's neck. Right. And kind of Ja Rule didn't have another hit after that.
But you know what? I really do think, I mean, who can predict the future? And the audience is so fickle and people have the attention span and the memory of like a gnat. I really think that this is going to have a big impact on Drake because suddenly,
that's what Jay said last week.
But that's what Jay said. And I really do think about it because it's, and not to get, too into because we have lots of stuff to cover, but I think it's shown what everybody has always thought about this guy.
Right.
And it has exposed a side to him that everyone has sort of intimated was there without getting into anything. But it's just shown. And at the end of the day, not only did Kendrick have the best lyrics, but he had the best beat. Drake forgot that the idea of a song is maybe people want to listen to it and not just read it.
Actually, what I think it exposed is Drake is Canadian, and this is not a diss on Canada. He's Canadian. He started out as an actor. He came from something different.
Right.
And then he came here, and it wasn't rooted in anything, right? He's just a talented guy who made fun records.
Right.
Kendrick, being from the West Coast, is coming from a different sort of culture. And I think what he did in his music was show
that culture.
Cultural things.
Yes, very much so.
Along with those lyrics.
Very much so.
Which is why those songs resonated differently.
Right, because you can't have a beat, you can't have a battle if one person is battling about, it's got to, look, ultimately, I think we can agree no matter what we think of them, and that rapper, lyricist, Kendrick is a lyricist, Drake is a rapper. And this was a battle of, at the end of the day, if you can he shut him down, and that's it. So it'll be very interesting to see what the next move is. Yeah, but I think Kendrick came out on top.
The next move should be, this is done. Like whatever.
Well, I think it's done, right?
It needs to be done. Just everybody make your next records and let it be what your next record needs to be. Can I say something that's not on the list? Because you and I have talked about this before, and I need to understand. Why can't Megan Thee Stallion have good music? She just dropped a new single, which I guess is the lead from the album.
Right.
It has the video, of course, stunning, right?
Right.
She's giving you body and all of that thing. But the music is just not good.
I haven't listened to it. I have to listen to who's she working with?
I have no idea, but I'm like, you're on Rock Nation. You have access to.
Is she still on Rock Nation?
Yeah, she's still Rock Nation.
I thought she sued to get off.
No. That was they helped her get off. They helped her get off the other situation. Why is the music just so bad, Amy?
They have a great roster. They have a fantastic roster. Was J. Cole signed to Rock Nation? J. Cole is right. Yeah, and he came fully formed.
I was about to say, did they break him or just open up the world? I think he came full.
And so this is not a diss because they have a phenomenal roster, but
they had Sam Dew, who I thought was amazing. They didn't break him.
Right.
They had Kylie Minogue for one album, and I thought it was kind of
that was a weird fit.
Yeah, but she came to them as superstar, and they didn't make that work.
I'm not saying this to be mean.
Do they still have Shakira? They had Shakira for a little bit.
No, I don't think she's on Rock Nation. I think she's like so.
But the point they had her in management for a little bit.
I think, I mean, I'm not saying this to be a diss because they do amazing stuff, but the point is that you can only.
I feel like they're better on their sports side.
I think so too. I think they're fantastic, and their publishing side.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and again, I'm not. I mean, they're a great organization, but who knows who they're linking Megan up with? Who knows who Megan's manager? She's been involved, and to be fair, who knows how her heart is into it at this point? And again, how many of the women have really been broken? I mean, none of them have come out with albums. Right? We're going to be talking about Cardi later, singles, amazing, social presence, great. One album.
No, we haven't gotten another album yet.
In 6 years?
Listen, Nicki's the one who puts out albums.
Nicki's the only one who puts out albums. Ice Spice,
There's a new album. Oh, God, that song.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, I have a feeling that the women... How many times have they really invested in women? I'm talking about the industry aside as rap artists. For real. R&B, they'll put all the money. But I think the women are still viewed. So I don't think it's Rock Nation. I don't think it's the label. I don't think it's management. I don't think it's Megan. I just think ultimately they want to... Does Latto have an album out? She had an album out, right?
She did have an album, yes.
But did it do...
I think it did all right because she had that big hit with Big Energy. But it felt
Where's Saweetie?
She put out a song recently, but...
Yeah.
Again.
And I also think that because of...
It's almost like some of these women are treated as disposable. They have a big
I think
hit,
they're treated as single...
and then nothing else really happens.
They're treated as singles artists.
Right.
And they also are pitted against each other in a way the men... We have this conversation in the way that the men aren't. There are lots of women putting out records. I mean, Rhapsody, I believe, has a new record coming out, but they're never going to put... Rhapsody in the same. She's always going to be seen as like, good hip hop. I'm being very sarcastic.
Like the Tierra Whack album was good,
right?
But did you see anybody talking about her? Anything about
nothing
her?
Other than the people who. So I think that
MC Lyte now just announced her first album in years.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting because it's 10 years, and you're going to have to who's her audience? Be honest. Who's her audience? I mean, and when you have such a deep catalog as her, you're going to be, look, we know but no, I don't blame Megan. I don't blame management. I don't blame anything. But it's like, I think the women have the shorter attention span. I still think that there's a lot of deep-seated misogyny directed at her because of what she did to that piece of garbage person whose name I don't even want to mention. Right. I still think men in the industry don't believe her. And who controls the industry? Men.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that I like Meg. You know, we say this all the time. I like the idea of her. I have an idea. But that's the problem, right?
But then these songs that come and I'm like, okay, so here's the video. You're naked again. Your body's beautiful. But what is this song? The visuals are great. But what's this song?
Yeah.
And you're launching a tour in, I want to say this month, an arena tour.
Wow.
And I know, seems kind of aggressive, right?
Wow. Like headlining arena?
Yes.
Wow. All right. Go on, you with your bad self. I mean, I want her. I want all people to win, except for Drake and Chris Brown. And Trey Lorenz or whatever. It's not Trey Lorenz. No, Trey Lorenz I want to win.
We love
Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
Too many similarity of names. I know. Come on. Come on. It's like Chris Pine. Chris, what's the other one? The other, Chris Evans, Chris Pine. There's too many Chris Hemsworth. There's too many Chris's. Yeah. So I think that Megan, there always has to be a lane for women, right? Nobody else can put out a record at the same time. It's ridiculous. They need to treat the women, the women artists the same way they treat them. No one has ever said, "Oh, we better not put out a Drake record because somebody else is putting out a record."
No, it's funny, right? You can put out two major male artists on the same week. Who was it? Wasn't it 50 versus Kanye?
That was amazing. That was hilarious.
It was fun, and everybody's like, "Who's going to sell more?"
They can't do that with the women.
But when it's the women, it's like, we need one to die. You know what I mean? It's like it's a full attack.
And if they were to show their lyrical skills and really go up against it with a battle, or really it would just be instantly written off as a bunch of bitches fighting catfight. So
listen, and I'll say this to you, and I've said it before. I'm not a huge Nicki Minaj person. I'm not a
Me neither.
But I do believe she's talented.
She's very talented.
1,000%.
She's very talented. And
the one thing I will say about her is she can rap. Yeah. And she's got songs because like even in this last album, I was like, well, she's got songs. How come you guys don't have songs? She's got real songs.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that, so again, I mean, on my joking aside, it's no one's fault. I think it's the industry as a whole. I think that Megan could be on, name the label. It's not a label. It's not management. It's the industry. The industry is dictating the terms, and she's at a disadvantage. But she's sold lots of records. She's won Grammys. By all means, she should be as big. Yeah, I mean, so it makes maybe just leadoff singles are not always great. Remember, we weren't like foaming at the mouth about the Dua Lipa leadoff single, and now we really like it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not every leadoff single is Bodak Yellow.
Yeah.
You know? But then Bodak Yellow followed
by the more and more I hear Houdini, it makes me fully
I love Houdini now, but at the beginning I was like, what? It's confusing. What? And I like the idea that she's invented an entire verb.
Well, and I like the idea that she's had her highest charting album. Like this is her first album to debut at #1 in the UK, and it debuted at #2 here behind Taylor Swift. So I'm happy for Dua. Yeah, people were really trying to give her shit for this record, but
why? I
enjoy this record. Yeah, I think it's the same shit, right? Again, the pop girlies, it's kind of like it's like people put so much expectation on you. If you don't deliver that thing that they expect, it's like they're like, this is her flop era. I'm like, she's having hit songs.
No, she's having hit songs. I am guaranteeing we will not have to have a tag sale or a GoFundMe for Megan, for Dua. Right. So save your ramen noodles for people who need ramen noodles. I think we'll both be fine. And if I were Dua Lipa or Megan or any of these other beautiful, smart women with talent, I would be pretends to smoke cigarette again. Drinks, sips coffee, pretends to smoke cigarette. All right. Can I tell you something honestly? I know this is like I'm going to lose my gay card, my pop card, my every card. I've never watched Eurovision. I've only watched the little. I know. Okay, you don't have to make that phrase. When I just said, I admitted, I've watched parts of it.
But
I know it's insane. I know it's insane.
Insanity and it's like being on
acid, right?
5 grams of mushrooms.
Yeah. I know.
When it's 99 degrees outside.
No, I know. I've heard it's nuts. I've heard it's nuts.
Insane. It's literally like, what am I watching?
No. I've heard it's like the musical Jerry Lewis Telethon.
But the production is fabulous.
It's over the top, right?
It's completely. I mean, this year has so much controversy. There was controversy with Israel. There was controversy with the Dutch guy.
Yeah, what did the Dutch guy do? He assaulted somebody, or he said something?
They're not there. It's so okay. So evidently, he had one of the most popular songs called Europapa, which is now become.
Oh, that is okay. Excuse me. That is playing to the cheap seats, right there.
Europapa, and there's a dance which now everybody's doing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So evidently, he was coming on stage and didn't want to be filmed. He was going to rushing to the green room, and had some words with, I guess, a producer or somebody. Right. And they disqualified him. And then it turns out they're saying that something happened with Israel where they broke some rules. Then you had the Polish witch.
No, I know the Polish witch. The Israel thing was all based on, and that was a very popular song. But I was like, it reminded me of that time on RuPaul's Drag Race when Willem got mysteriously banned. Remember that? Back when RuPaul's Drag Race was actually kind of fun. But
Willem, who still keeps his foot on RuPaul's neck. I love it. Yeah. Willem has his podcast called Race Chasers. It's really good with him in Alaska. But and they talk about drag race and all of the stuff. Yeah, it was very weird. Suddenly he's just not there. It just seemed like more insanity than usual. And Miguel was in a bar in Germany watching it because, all of the gay bars.
In Europe, it's like you can watch it in real time. And then gay bars
here were having it. A $3 bill in Brooklyn had a big controversy because they tried to cancel it, cancel a viewing party. And
Why?
Then it's something to do with people. I know the anti-Semitism came in. I'm not going to the full story.
That's always attractive, right?
Then they decided, they were like, we're bringing it back. Because some people were like, we have to boycott because Israel is performing.
First off, Israel wasn't performing. A woman who lives in Israel was.
Yeah, but you're performing for your country. It's just like, we're in this age of, I think.
Well, they did ban the Russian performer, so there is precedent for this.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on in the world.
Well, anyway, the person who won, Nemo. They're so first non-binary winner.
And it's so funny because when that performance was happening,
it was a mess.
I was texting Miguel and I was like,
"What is going on?
What am I? There's someone in a skirt on a spinning disc.
No, it's too much." It was way too much. And the non-binary part was the most mainstream part of the whole thing. That was like whatever.
That was kind of like the whatever of it all.
Whatever. Yeah.
Everything else was full on insane. It was insane.
Insanity. Absolutely. I mean, other than ABBA and Måneskin, no one has ever gone from anything from this, right? I mean, no one has ever.
No, Loreen, who won last year, this was her second time winning, and she became.
No, but I mean, upbeat. Broken internationally, United States.
Well, Loreen has had Euphoria was a hit for her here. And she just announced a big world tour, Loreen. I want to say Celine Dion. Remember Celine Dion?
Oh, right. But how's she in Eurovision?
Here's the crazy part. Switzerland, who just won with Nemo.
Right.
The last time they won was with Celine Dion, who sang for, because you can say, when she was really young, sang
because she sang in French. And okay.
And she sang the song for Switzerland, and she won some big ballad. Yeah, it's always
that's like the Jamaican bobsled team? Or like Americans who tried to prove Spanish heritage to get out when Trump was elected? Yeah, okay, great. Yay. Okay, Nemo.
Oh, what's her name? Hilaria Baldwin?
Well, but this is somebody, she wasn't representing Spain. She was just delusional.
But she was like, I'm Spanish, and it turns out she's from Boston.
Yeah, but at least Celine Dion, in her defense, is Quebecois. So there is some connection. Maybe her parents were from France. I mean, literally, it could be. Anyway, yay, Nemo. Yeah, and I was very disappointed there were no Finding Nemo jokes with this at all.
None. Yeah, none.
Do the kids not understand?
I don't, I think that was so long ago, they don't even remember that.
Because, I mean, Nemo, right? Is there any other Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
They definitely don't remember that.
Yeah, they don't remember that. And it's a book.
Then they definitely don't know it.
They would have to read a book. Well, yay, Nemo. Okay, and the MTV Awards. Really, there was a music. They still had a movie award. I mean, I'm not being sarcastic.
Evidently, they still had the movie and TV awards, which are not happening this year. Cool. So categories like Best Kiss won't be presented this year. I know you're disappointed.
I'm very disappointed.
I know you're disappointed. It's really hard.
Is that the one where they hand out the golden popcorn?
Yes.
Okay. So it just would have been that Barry, how do you pronounce his last name? Barry the Saltburn guy, which I still haven't seen Saltburn. It just would have been him winning everything.
I still haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either because you know what really on? Well, first off, I don't have Netflix. Oh, it's on Amazon. Which is it on? It's on it's on Amazon. I've heard it's really not that good. So I don't have time. I just saw Baby Reindeer. I found it on
do you like it?
It's incredible. It really is. And I had just seen that woman who plays Martha in a completely different sort of like comedy called Outlaws with Christopher Walken, who is like genius in it, who is just being the most Christopher Walken-y. And there's like every other scene he's getting to dance because you can see what a good dancer he is.
I found a show called The Dry. It's a Brit show called The Dry, about this woman who was a real party alcoholic.
Okay. Is anybody under caution? Anybody under caution? Because I told you that's my goal, is to be called off under caution.
And I think you would like it. I'll send you. I found it on the internet.
Interwebs. The interwebs. Yeah, the interwebs. Well, I can find things on the but here's what's really crazy, and then we'll move on. Here's what's really crazy. So for those, I'm not going to give anything away if you haven't seen Baby Reindeer, though I don't know how you could avoid what it's about.
That person who's been booked for a nightclub appearance.
Who? The guy? He's a comedian. That's what he wrote.
No.
Oh, no, the woman.
The real lady in real life who's evidently the stalker is now putting herself out there for nightclub appearances.
But what I was going to say is what's really interesting on the interwebs. So I watched, it's a 7-part series. It's really, really good. So I watched part 1 came up, no problem. Part 2 came up, no problem. Part 3. Part 4, which is absolutely harrowing. I mean, you have to watch all of them, but it is probably the standout. If anyone were to get nominated for anything, it would be for that. That one was nowhere to be found. But yet, when I went on Flickstore, it was there. But it was almost like they were censoring that one, and then I went back in 5, 6, and 7. No, it's really good. It's good. It's very intense, though.
Literally every one of my friends is like, you need to watch this.
It's really, really good. It's not just intense, but so MTV Movie Awards. Oh, wow.
Okay. I don't even know where MTV is on the TV. I got to be honest with you.
Oh, I don't have it. It's somewhere. If you have FiOS in New York, I think it's something 7:15. I don't know. Only thing I ever watch on VH1 anymore, no judgment, is occasionally I will watch Cheaters.
I used to watch Cheaters.
Candace got me. But then one stupid
you like it with Peter Guns?
Oh, horrible. I can't watch it with him. Because he's horrible, but I like
the old ones with Clark Kent,
ones with the guy
Clark Gable,
who tragically died, and then what's his face, the one who got stabbed. You didn't know that?
I'm sorry, what?
All right, we have to have this conversation offline. It was this Southern weird guy who was just completely uninteresting, and then Clark Gable the fourth, who died in a tragic drug overdose, as opposed to those untragic drug overdoses, I guess.
Right.
And then what was the guy's name? I'm totally blanking on his name, but he was the host for the majority of the show, and there was like a scene in it where like the boyfriend and he got stabbed in real time, and they're taking him off, and they're like, fixing it. It turned out to be sort of, Google. This is what Google's good for. Whatever happened to what the hell his name is? We'll find out. But anyway, no MTV Awards. All right, this is really switching gear. You know what? Let's do Cardi first because that's stupid, and then we'll get into the more serious part of the show. So Cardi B could, you take it because whatever.
So Cardi B, your favorite person.
We do love Cardi. I love Cardi.
Yeah, I think she's great, but I feel like you are going to the Met Gala and you have one job to do. One job.
Get up the steps.
One job to do. Get up the steps.
By the way, that's our side hustle from now on. We're going to be lifters. We're just going to lift these people up the steps.
You've gone through 1 million fittings for a dress that has 7 people to carry it.
I know. It's unbelievable.
You have one job. That job is when they say, "Oh my God, what are you wearing? Who made your dress?" To be able to say, "Oh, my dress is by Simpson Lee."
Okay.
But of course, Cardi did not remember the name of the person who made said dress, which is part of the reason why you're there, and basically said something like an Asian designer.
Okay, I'm going to defend her for 1 second. I've never been in this situation before. Sometimes I would forget the name of my kid, and I only have one. Sometimes you just forget shit. So she's on the red carpet. You got people coming out. You got
one job. It's not your first time there. It's the designer's big moment where this is going on around the world.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it happened.
I didn't like her response to it. Her response to, I was nervous, because she got called out by a former Vogue editor. It was like, you can't do that. And she's like, this person was just trying to make me look a certain way. I was like, actually, I would have appreciated more with some accountability, being like, you know what? I really fucked this up. I should have, but I was really nervous, but I'm really sorry. Because the truth is, you went through so many fittings. At least know the name of the person who made your dress. To me, it's just
in your hand. Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Like something.
Well,
there's just certain things. I don't know. As somebody who's worked with artists a lot, there's certain things that we will always be like, remember, it's da 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 da, because that's part of the gig.
All right, she forgot. Maybe she was drunk. Life goes on. I mean, yeah, okay. But you know what? In hindsight, the designer got more press out of her forgetting than having said it, because now their name is in 1 million. Seriously, nobody would have put the name in the press. They put the name in the press because she forgot. So just put out another record, Cardi. That's all I want from you.
I mean, but then again, she's another one, right? Because I'm looking at these singles that have come, and you and I, we've not even talked about any of them because they haven't even hit our radar.
I just love her. I really do.
I love. She and Megan are the two of the same thing.
No. I love everything about Cardi, not the idea of Cardi. I think Cardi is smart. So is Megan. Cardi is smart. Cardi speaks her mind. Cardi is pro-woman. Cardi's got great politics. She's a lot. I feel like a lot of her, what she does is it's like a persona. She is that person.
Right.
I love her.
I know you do. You.
I just love the idea. I think she's cool. I mean, do I listen to her music? No, her music is not for me. Her music's not for us, Courtney. We're old farts.
True, but the truth of the matter is, great music doesn't have an age limit. You know what I'm saying? It does. Well, this music that's being made today.
Yeah,
I think some of it is made to skew old. But if I put on a Latifah record, I think young females who especially love hip hop would love a Latifah record today, just like they did when it came out.
Young women, stop calling them females.
Oh, did I see?
I yell at my students all the time about it. You can say a female artist. A female dog.
Yes, Professor Linden. I'm very sorry.
You know what? Honestly, it's not even a grammatical thing.
It's not. You're like...
It's degrading in a way, and I know you don't mean it like that.
I can see on your face at that one moment, it was like, sweetie.
No, because you would never say young males. You wouldn't. Females, it kind of and I'm not saying it's not grammatically. I don't know if it's grammatic. It just sort of like female, females. It's like, whatever. Yes, but you're exactly right. But I would say if you were like 60 when the Sex Pistols came out, you would have a hard time hearing this and going, this is great art. You would just go, turn this down. My dad used to tell us to turn Aretha, stop playing that caterwauling woman. Or maybe that was Dylan. She's yelling.
Wait, caterwauling?
Caterwauling. Which is a word I think we need to bring back. I don't know
what does that mean?
I'm going to Google it. Keep talking. Caterwauling? I think the sound of the word should give away caterwauling. I don't even know.
So it's a cat, but the cat likes to walling.
Here, caterwauling. Yes, you're right. Make a shrill howling or wailing noise like that of a cat.
And with that, we're going to take a break and be right back.
Pantheon Podcast listeners, Christian Swain here to tell you more about my experience with Raycon earbuds. Our family now has 3 pairs of Raycon earbuds around the house, and my wife just grabbed a pair of the Headphone Pros to replace some headphones from a company that was double the price. And yes, she loves them. Now, if you haven't pulled the trigger on a pair of Raycons, or even if you have, but you're in the market for another pair because they're just that good, well, now is the time to check them out, because they just launched their upgraded model of the best-selling everyday earbuds. With Raycon's upgraded everyday earbuds, now you also get active noise cancellation, ergonomic design, and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. New quick charge function, 3 customizable sound styles, plus awareness mode. Available in a variety of vibrant new colors to complement any and all skin tones. I even have a pair of earbuds in a cool green color. I have tried just about every earbud known to humankind, and these Raycons are fantastic. Seriously, if you've been wanting to check out Raycons, there truly is no better time. You're going to ask yourself why you didn't check them out sooner, and Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go to buyraycon.com/Pantheon today to get 20% off your Raycon order, plus free shipping. That's right, you'll get 20% off and free shipping at buyraycon.com/Pantheon. buyraycon.com/Pantheon.
And we're back.
The other one I like, besides from caterwauling, I used to tell my students when they were acting up, not the college students, oh my God, you sound like a bunch of howler monkeys.
Well, I know what a howler monkey is, so that doesn't...
Have you ever stepped on a cat's tail? By mistake.
Right, yes. Mm-hmm.
What is the noise a cat makes when they're hungry or been hurt in some way?
Yeah, true. Right.
That's caterwauling.
Got it.
Though you would think it would be caterwailing. Wait, let me ask the expert here. Spoonie! She's walked out. She's offended. She's calling. We've invaded her safe space and she feels uncomfortable.
She's like, I don't feel safe in this environment.
I don't caterwaul on command. And why have you been giving us so little cat food in the morning? It's like the Chewy delivery didn't show up yet. I have to like, here's a spoon.
Oh, no,
here's a spoon.
Everybody I knew who has Chewy, when the Chewy delivery is not there.
Oh, the cat's
like,
no.
Here's my cat is trying to kill me.
Trying to kill me. Here's a spoon. Look, here's a spoon. I don't like it. Shut up. Just take it into the Chewy. Children are starving in Appalachia. Just have the spoonie. Here, you're getting a spoonie. And the other one doesn't eat anyway. All right, how are we going to... All right, let's do Linda Martell because I don't want to segue into people who died. Jim Carrey. All right, Linda Martell, go.
I'm really happy for Linda Martell. She's fine. She's really getting her due. Like, as someone who grew up in country music, I had never heard of Linda Martell.
Me neither.
I had no idea who she was.
Explain a little bit who she is for the Amy the Ignorant.
Okay. Linda Martell is the first Black woman to perform at the Grand Ole Opry as a solo female country artist. She had a hit in the late 60s. She was around from the late 60s to early 70s. And, she had a couple of hits, but she was signed to this man who, the money started getting funny. And as usual, as that happens, and he was really powerful in the country industry. So her leaving him to try to go someplace else, he basically blackballed her in that industry. So she stopped making country music and subsequently retired. But, Billboard, there's a really good Billboard article on her.
By Melinda Newman, who's a fantastic writer, expert writer, Melinda.
And an interview with her. And it's just amazing to see how, out of all of the people we've talked about, like Shabuzi right now has a hit, with Tipsy, everybody's at the bar getting tipsy. He's really one of the ones who's the Cowboy Carter feature has absolutely propelled him and pushed him to the front. He's got a #1 country hit. But Linda's streams have really gone up. Beyonce was seen wearing one of her merch t-shirts. So now they're selling like 600 of those
a week. But that's the reason. That's what you want from this. Yeah. All right,
absolutely.
I'm going to ask, all right, 2 questions. What has happened to Mickey Guyton? She just
put out a new song.
All right, because she was going to be all eyes on her.
Well, it was interesting that she was, of all of the Black country artists, that she wasn't put on the record.
That's where I was kind of going with this.
Which was really interesting.
Unless she's not considered Americana enough, or maybe she didn't want to do it. Maybe she was like, I don't
think she would have said no to that. Beyonce sent her flowers. Beyonce sent her a bouquet of flowers. And was
all right, but I'm just wondering what happened to her. And here's my other question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she was like all eyes on her in a lot of ways. And here's my other question. Where's the single, Beyonce?
There is a new single.
Is there coming out?
Because I'm still on all these promo lists from all my days.
Okay.
The next single that they've officially identified that they're going for is Most Wanted. Her Miley Cyrus.
Oh Jesus! Why don't they do the Song of the Summer single?
Bodyguard.
Yes. Oh my God. Why aren't they doing that?
Because they probably were looking at the streams of what was going, and that song was streaming high, and they probably said, okay, they probably let that, we're in an algorithm-based world now in the music industry. Well, this is the one that people are streaming, so this is the one we're going to go for.
I mean, that other song is great, but Bodyguard.
To me, that says spring, summer, in the car, driving, singing it. It's a groove, but
And it's also the one, and this is going to sound really weird to say this, if you have any issues with Beyonce, you can't, that's the one where you're like, that's the one where that's the one that grabbed me immediately.
It's the one that grabbed me too. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the Miley one is great, but it's kind of like a new Fleetwood Mac song, which is another good vibe to have. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know yes, it's very smart strategically because Miley comes preloaded with a bunch of people, and it is a really interesting pairing. But oh my God, Bodyguard! It's like I can even see the top-down driving PCH video.
You know what's interesting, and you and I have talked about this, and I don't, I've always appreciated Beyonce, even the years of doing work on her projects. She's not my go-to artist.
Yeah.
So I hadn't listened to the album since probably the week of release, and over the weekend, I actually put it on again. I was like, oh, let me play this record. But it's, for me, because she's not who I automatically gravitate to, I got like a couple of tracks in, and then I just went and listened to something else. You know what I mean? It didn't have the longest lasting power, and I realized I'm not her core fan base.
No.
I still think it's a great record, I went back and I was like, let me put on Pet Shop Boys.
Well, I was exactly the same way. I listened to it for the sake of conversation. I enjoyed what I enjoyed. I didn't care. It is probably vocally the album of hers that I am the most interested in because she doesn't sound super Beyonce-esque on it.
Yeah.
But that said, and can we just add one more thing about this and then we will move on, I promise. Why is Post Malone? I guess the Morgan Wallen boycott thing is that was what, 5 minutes?
That was 5 minutes. And here's the thing. Post Malone is evidently
everywhere.
He's
the new Adam Levine. He's the new Adam Levine.
Guy,
yeah.
But at least he's picking them right because the songs he is doing, they are good. First of all, I never paid attention to him.
Me neither.
Never paid. He just the song, not my guy. But these last couple of ones, even the one him and Taylor Swift, I was like, you actually have a really beautiful voice.
No,
he
has a really good voice, but as I've said before,
didn't he start wasn't he hip hop when he started? Am I crazy?
Let me tell you something. He is the poster child for the freedom that white male artists have in the industry.
Because to be able to do every genre they want.
Because he started with the emo hip hop and his face looks like a desk in junior high. Right. And if a woman had come in looking like that, especially a woman of color, even if a black artist, can you imagine and he can sing though, but he didn't start like that. But I'm telling you, my high school students love it because he's so sensitive. And now he's everywhere, and he is great, but I just find it very funny. People always talk about cancel culture. The only people who seem to get canceled are the women because Morgan Wallen, he's back. That was what, a 5-minute timeout. You can't come on. Oh, but you're selling records. Even with the timeout,
they were like, we're not going to let you perform at the awards, but the fans showed up because his album stayed number one for a lot of weeks, and he had hits. And, they kind of were like, he's our guy.
It just proves it's such garbage.
It's bullshit. Yeah,
when the right wing, cancel culture. It's obviously not because he's making more money than
they would scream cancel culture, then they were the ones. They still hate the Dixie Chicks, right? They still hate them.
The chicks.
Yeah, they still hate them.
Well, of course. But it's just so funny to me. But yeah, Post Malone. Very good. But like I said, he's the new Adam Levine or the new John Mayer. Everybody has to have them on their track. But he is good. But I just thought it was very funny because you can't get less hip hop to then get on a track with a guy who was busted for saying the N-word. White guy who said it was busted. So yeah, whatever. Gee, people in the industry who have no scruples.
Well, people don't care about black people. So, you can call us anything you want.
I do.
Shannon Sharp sat on his show last week with, what's his name? Gary Owens, who's just the worst, that comedian. And when Gary Owens says to him, well, you don't defend black women, Shannon Sharp's reaction was a guttural laugh from his soul. I got to take a shot on that. And black women are
good.
Completely insane.
You know what we need to do for next week?
What is funny about that?
Can we? You know what we need to do for next week? Our assignment is to watch the Black Twitter documentary on Hulu.
I totally want to see that. Yeah,
I have to see that.
Yeah. We do have to watch that.
Because one of the highlights of my life, Amy Linden's life, is when I was told I got a shout out at some Nike event that Lucian was part of. It was like a fake draft and they were shouting out people and somebody shouted out. And, Lucian's mom, Amy's in the audience. And Lucian said to me, "You're big on Black Twitter now." And I was like, Black Twitter. I'm big on Black Twitter.
I'm telling you.
And having to explain to white people that there's not actually a Twitter that's black.
I'm telling you, I had people who were sitting in a screening room watching this upcoming Luther Vandross doc that's going to be released at some point this week.
Where is that?
And they said that, where
is that?
And a friend sitting there, and she said, they're showing these articles about the time when he's trying to cross over to pop. She said, then all of a sudden on the screen, there's this quote, and then there's from an article, I think in Entertainment Weekly, and they're and then the author's name is at the bottom on the screen, and she said, and that's big block letters, it says Amy Linden, and she's like, wait a minute.
Yes.
I know her.
I know her too. I will say, we need a Luther
You
Vandross.
are black music industry adjacent.
I am Black Twitter. I am adjacent. I'm right up in the mix.
It's not even adjacent. It's up in the mix.
Yes, please. No, we need a distributor for the Willie DeVille documentary and the Luther documentary. We don't need an Amy Winehouse biopic. How's that?
That comes out on Friday.
Which have no plans on watching.
Yeah, it was a hit in the UK, if that counts.
So what?
Anything.
So was Boris Johnson, okay? Who cares? All right. The hit in the UK. That only matters, Courtney. That only matters when we
as I was saying it, I was like,
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
No, that hit in the UK only matters when it's somebody we also like.
Right, it's true.
Okay, when we don't like them, it means nothing. When we do like them, that's the ultimate judge of credibility.
That's always my case when I talk about the Liza Minnelli Pet Shop Boys produced album results. I'm like, well, it was a hit in the UK.
And there's like the size of like, well, my joke used to be, I'm big in the Benelux countries, you know, I'm really popular. If you go to Liechtenstein, people are like, oh my God. All right. So there have been several passings this week, or passing away. Yesterday, David Sanborn, the saxophonist and band leader, passed away. And I have to tell you, now he's talk about a guy that like you could hear him on a record, you knew it was him. He was a session musician. He hosted that great show. What was it? Night Music? Was that the show?
I think it's called Night Music. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really interesting show. But he's somebody who
wasn't he also at one point? Didn't he play in the Saturday Night Live?
He may have, or he may have been in that, or the late night band, the Letterman band. I think he's a guy who just sort of popped in and did stuff. By all accounts, an incredibly nice person. But it's funny because I think because his sound was so recognizable and ubiquitous for a moment in time, he kind of got painted with this kind of Kenny G fake jazz brush.
Right.
And friends of mine or people I know who are real jazz writers, you know, write about real jazz, say, no, you cannot deny the man's chops. This was not some schlocky, you know, fake nonsense. So, I mean, he passed away and he's, you know, it's, well, first off, you shouldn't say mean things about people when they die. I mean, it's just in terms of you have nothing nice to say about, don't say anything, but he was very talented. And so he passed, and that's very sad. Dennis Thompson, who was the last remaining member of the MC5, the drummer. So probably he also passed away a couple days ago. And I guess people could say it was good that he got to see them inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It would have been obviously in terms of people who really loomed larger in the public opinion if Wayne Kramer had been alive, but he passed. So they're all gone. Everyone in the MC5, including management. There's a new
including the management?
John Sinclair. Yeah, he passed a while back with the White Panther Party. There's either a book. I think there's a book that's just come out about the MC5 with one of my personal Jesuses, Jan Uhelski, who, if you were a woman, you worshipped her, especially when she found out she was a woman. I always thought she was a guy, and then I found out she was a woman, and I love her. That just came out. Roger Corman, the king of the B movies, the best, right? Started the careers of like everybody, basically. Ron Howard, Jack Nicholson. You've seen the original Little Shop of Horrors, right?
I have seen the original Little Shop of Horrors.
How great is that movie?
Amazing.
You know, when I saw Little Shop of Horrors, the remake, I saw it in the old, Brooklynites will know this, the old Duffield Theater in the Albee Square Mall.
The Duffield.
Where there was a shooting every week.
Right.
Yeah. So I saw it there. The audience was rooting for the plant.
That makes sense.
To eat all the white people.
That makes sense.
Yeah, somehow Seymour became, or not Seymour, what was the name of the plant?
Audrey.
They wanted Audrey to eat all the white people. So every time Audrey munched on somebody, they were like, yeah, Audrey! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I made it onto Black Twitter, because I sat through that. Don't you remember when New Jack City opened up there and there were like shootings all around the city for New Jack City? Remember that?
A mess. Oh my God.
Do you remember that? Wasn't it New Jack City and Above the Rim, right? Those were the ones where there were shootings everywhere.
There was just so much dumbness, but it was great. I loved it.
No, it was great.
I liked when New York had its edge like that. Now it's just
feels not getting shot.
Well,
I mean,
now it just feels almost worse now. Like 11-year-old was just slashed in the back of her head on 116th Street randomly by someone who didn't even say anything.
Well, you know, it's better that way. Why engage?
Oh my God. That's kind of how it feels. Meanwhile, our mayor was like, I'm on a tour of Italy to talk about the migrant crisis. I'm like, because we've had Italian migrants coming over here.
No. Because Italy has a huge, I'm not defending it, but Italy has a huge migrant issue. The difference is in Italy.
So
because there was probably free food. And he met the Pope. because he's a deeply religious man, our mayor. He's such a dick. All right. And Steve Albini, producer, musician. You were just saying that you had no...
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I knew his name, but I didn't realize the scope of his work and just how respected he was. You know what I mean? And seemed like a really honorable person, which when you say music industry, honorable is not a word that usually goes with
not at all.
that.
It's not even close.
You know?
Not even close. No, I mean, I knew like the bigger projects he was involved with, which is In Utero, the Nirvana record, which Nirvana wanted him to produce the record, and then he produced it. He was known for a very raw kind of sound. And he produced the record, which was, of course, coming after Nevermind, which was like the biggest record of all time. And then the the label was like, no. We need to bring somebody in to make this sound a little smoother. And they brought in, I think, a very good producer, but a guy who'd worked with REM, that's certainly not a band that's going to be like as raw as Nirvana, which is not a slam. But Albini had, he had a band. He was very controversial in his way. He had a group, Rape Man, which he said was named after the comic book, which I don't know, and Big Black. And he was not somebody who I knew the name. I knew the stuff he did. That was not sort of my lane musically. But yes, he was like not somebody who took points on records. He was just like unheard of.
Unheard of.
I mean, the guy who delivers coffee wants points on records.
I mean, people just don't realize how unheard of that is.
No, he was just like, you hired me. I did my job. And I will now move on to do other things.
Right.
So
like, I got my fee and that's it. I mean, no one in the music industry turns down something that's basically millions of dollars that they don't have to do anything for, but collect their statements after the work.
Right. Yeah. No, it's like turning down publishing. It's like, no, you don't have to pay me if this song becomes. So yeah, very honorable guy. A true example of someone who did it because he believed in it. He was very contentious too. He used to like attack music critics, not in person, but online. He was from Chicago, so he would go after like local Chicago press guys. But yeah, a lot of the bands you're listening to, whether you realize it or not, were informed by his sound. Is there any other dead people here? Oh, okay. So our Knicks are playing tonight, and we're just it's Tuesday. Yeah. I am not gonna hold out hope, but I will tell you this. So Mother's Day, which I hate anyway, for so many reasons, but and my new strategy is, I only watch the second half because I can't take it. My anxiety level is going through the roof. I knew we were doomed when I did, and we lost by like 5,000 points. I knew we were doomed when I didn't get a frantic, get help, they're biting me hard text from you 1 minute into the game, which is usually your MO. It was radio silence. My friend Linda didn't say, nobody was responding because we were all like.
The whole first quarter was just so devastating. I'm like, we're going to be 20 something. Okay, is this what we're doing? And then my mother kept trolling me whenever they do it. She'll call me up in the middle and be like, how are your Knicks doing?
Okay, for Mother's Day, I think you need to rework her present for next year. That is unnecessary.
They're so decimated by injury. They look exhausted.
No, they are exhausted. They should have just benched that entire team and grabbed like a couple of the popcorn people, the concession people, and let them play, because even the greatest player of all time cannot. Even though Josh Hart, you read what Josh Hart said about when people say, oh, you've been working so hard. He goes, this is my job. People work 12, 15 hours a day in a factory. Like, leave me the hell alone. Like, this is not working hard. I work like 4 days a week, 3 days a week. And
it brings me back to what I said when we traded for OG. And it's like, has he been good for the team? Sure. But his body is made of glass. He cannot. This is why Toronto traded him, because he's great, but he often stays injured. He came here, got injured, was out for a bunch of games, came back, and now he's injured again and out. Mitchell Robinson just had surgery yesterday, so he's done. Julius Randle had surgery. He's done.
But somebody said
Brunson
something
has been putting the whole team on his back, and you can see that he is exhausted.
He's injured too. But somebody said something. Julius Randle, is it a coinkydink that the Knicks started doing so phenomenally, or Brunson, once Randle was out?
Yeah, right. Because
Julius
is one of those guys who needs
He's
the ball in his
kind
hand.
of a ball hog, right?
You need the ball. And for that season that he was great, when we needed him, we needed that. So it's really different. I think that the Knicks have a lot of
gumption.
But they also have some moves that they have to make in this offseason, right? I think through the draft, I think we have a bunch of draft picks.
Hope is not. We didn't think this was going to be a cakewalk. You don't get into the second round. But I will say this:
and injuries are doing them in.
Yeah,
like, you
the
really
Pacers,
see
and no one. I think that I don't want to say it, if for some reason another team should make it to the next round, I don't think anyone's going to look at the Knicks and say they screwed up. They're going to acknowledge. But I will say, oh my God, the Pacers, they're white. Oh my God, who is this? I want him gone. They're white. J.R. McWhite. I don't like that. I don't like this white. I want him gone, or on our team,
or on our team.
On our team.
And Tyrese Halliburton is really good. You know what I mean?
I can't. Okay. Can you even listen to the name Halliburton? I mean, seriously.
Whenever I hear that name, I only think of
Halliburton.
I hear that name, and I completely think Dick Cheney and fucking George Bush. Whenever I hear Halliburton, looking at him like, let me just say,
wait a minute, are you from the Halliburton?
I will never forget the first time. See, this is when I used to work at a company that was based in Houston.
Oh, right.
You get on the road, and it's all of those big companies that do all those that have all of those contracts that make all of the military stuff. I'll never forget the first time I passed by Halliburton, because you can't even see any of the buildings. It's a long driveway. You just see this long sign that says Halliburton, right. And there's a road that's all tree lined that you go down, and then I guess you get onto some campus. But it's just,
I've never heard of anybody else having that last name.
No.
I'm that's all I'm saying, but their white is annoying me right now,
because
and I want him
beating us. And Dante's been playing really well for us.
Dante's been playing really good. He's
trying to pick up the slack, and then we have our Bogdanovich. He's out hurt. So what happened to us is all of these injuries in the postseason have really fucked us. Wow, now tonight, do I think we're going to win tonight? I don't know.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
I don't know.
All I wanted, though, for Mother's Day was for them to win. That's all I wanted. And all I want for tonight, this is my last day on Earth under a certain demographic. Tomorrow, when I twirl down, what is your demographic? I am going to bump up one. So for my gift tonight is for them to win. That's all I want. Because tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to be old as dirt.
Oh shit! Tomorrow
I have my Medicare card came.
Wait, tomorrow's your birthday.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Why was I thinking it was the 16th?
No, it is the 15th. It should be me and Brian Eno. And the 19th is my party at the Greek Jewish Festival, which it better not rain. And I don't care if it is. I'm out there doing my spanakopita.
Where is that at?
It's in front of a temple in the Lower East Side. Ask Anne. She'll tell you. Anne's so excited. My Manhattan friends are always so excited when I deign to come.
Oh, wait, I know that one that happens.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I get to get my Greek dance on and so there. Yeah, so we're going to going back to the Knicks. So Charles Oakley. Okay, there are two Knicks I think who are beloved more, and I'm not talking about old era Bernard King, Walt. We all know that. Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason. Would you agree that those are the like the absolute hardcore New York? You're a Knick fan. Biggest regret I ever had was giving my Anthony Mason jersey to your friend, my son, for a Halloween party, and he's never given it back. I'm like, that was just a loaner. No, you gave it to me. I went, no, that was a loaner. I bought it. It was on sale at Modell's, because after they lost, they would sell all the Knicks stuff cheap. Okay, so Charles him too. Charles Oakley was like a Knicks Knick. In 2017 or something, he was at the Garden and he got into a fight with somebody.
with like security,
which is always, I don't know. I mean, he's probably not the nicest guy in the world, but that's not the point. He's Charles Oakley. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do. He gets into a fight. He gets bounced from the Garden, and he has been banned from the Garden. Not just Knicks games. Like, he couldn't take his kids to the circus if he wants to.
Which to me is just really ridiculous.
It's petty. It's petty.
And so he came out and he had an interview saying that he was invited back, but he won't go back without having an apology from James Dolan. And then the Garden hit back saying, you weren't invited back.
I have a feeling it's that. I have a feeling it's the latter. I hate to say it. I never want to say it, but I have a feeling it was like, we didn't invite you in the first place.
It's completely the latter. It's the latter. But even that is just... It just feels undignified.
No, it's just petty. And
He's
it's
a New York Knicks legend. Let the man back in the room.
I know, because every other one is there. I mean, freaking Latrell, who choked out his coach. Making him my favorite Knick of that era. Sorta. I kind of, because you know what?
We all wanted to choke out our coach at one point. It's just kind of like, I mean, he didn't.
My feeling is he didn't kill him.
That part.
He just choked
Everybody went home that night. So
everybody went home. All right, PJ Carlesimo had a little sore throat. But the point is that, would you have choked PJ Carlesimo if given a chance?
I mean, things happen. It's an accident.
Things happen. Let's put it this way. I would never actively encourage violence against somebody. But if, for instance, PJ Carlesimo, in his height of PJ Carlesimo-ness, and he was not coaching the Knicks at the time, but at the height of his PJ Carlesimo-ness, it's like Bobby Knight. If someone were to choke out Bobby Knight, I would not have a problem kind of going, look, there's something in the air.
And listen, we don't condone violence.
No, we don't. No, seriously. But I'm just saying, when that happened, I was like, and our problem is what exactly?
James Dolan is just such a fucking.
So if something were to happen, I'm just saying, if something were to happen to, I want James Dolan to be sex scandaled out. That's what I want. I want a Sterlinged. I want him to be Sterlinged.
Oh God.
I want him to be Sterlinged, but I think he's too powerful.
But here's the thing. But his son runs, so it would just be his son.
Oh, does he have a son?
Listen, come on, it's a family-owned company.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of not.
They just found that biometrics thing is completely legal, and they have a right to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the court said there's a thing where Dolan face time.
Facial, the regular.
Yeah. And they said it's completely legal. It's a private enterprise. It's completely legal. Yeah. It's not like a public space.
They just told the MTA they can't use it because they were trying to use.
That's a public space, though. But that's a public space. I mean, that's something we all have to use. I mean, it's petty and nasty and stupid because Dolan also owns Radio City. Listen.
And the Sphere and
Well, the Sphere, let him stay. That's why they have to wear those stupid Sphere patches on their jerseys. Is that the Knicks have to wear that Sphere? Listen, he's been very quiet. Who's the guy who's running the team now? Basically, general manager Leon Rose.
Who does not do any interviews. I love that. He won't talk to anybody.
He just
and
does
people keep screaming about the moves that he makes until they work, and then they're like, he's a genius.
Well, everybody, we all do that, right? I mean, we all do that. We're all like, oh my God, he's an asshole. Oh, look, he bought me flowers. I love him.
It's like...
Oh, see, you always go on about how women want a bad boy. Male sports fans want a bad boy.
All of us.
Yeah.
I've dated someone, and I was like, you're a really horrible person, and he brought me McDonald's, which everybody knows is my weakness.
Were really cheap.
Let me just tell you something. I'll give it up for a quarter pounder with cheese.
Ew! As long as you don't give it up in a quarter pounder.
Honey, you bring me a quarter pounder with cheese. I'm like, you want to touch it?
Okay, I think this is why we do need to have video, because I'm making faces that even my dermatologist would tell me to stop making these faces because things are moving in directions.
No, but it's good. Your face still moves. You know how many people.
First of all, it moves
your
too
birthday's
much.
tomorrow. You look great.
Thank you.
And you've not shot your face up full of shit. You look
great.
I
would never do that. I would never do that. Are you kidding me? No. Because you look like...
your skin is really good.
I just want the vitiligo. This is how black Twitter I am. I have Michael Jackson.
So you now wearing a lot of sunscreen? Do you have to put a lot of sunscreen on your face?
I always do anyway. Yeah. I always do. And I stopped. I was going to say something ridiculous. I'm not going to. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I've accepted it. Mm-hmm. I have no choice. Get to me tomorrow where I'm crying in my non-beer. I'm just eating a lot of chocolate, and that's what's getting me through it. All right. What are you listening to? And if you say beforehand, for some reason, I'm going to get on a train and punch you. Well, half price MetroCard. I've been approved.
Oh, fabulous!
Yeah. And you know me. I am going online and going, what benefits in New York City do you get?
You're like, I want everything that I can get.
Maintenance? What? You get a maintenance deduction and your utilities? Hello. Oh, everything. I am like, I'll take it even if they have a quarter pounder with cheese, half price at McDonald's, and I've been a vegetarian for 35 years. I will take it and bring it to you.
Take it and bring it to me. I'll let you touch it. I will say this. I'm still listening to Pet Shop Boys. I keep going back to that.
Me too.
I put on other records, but I keep going back to the Pet Shop Boys album.
This is 3 weeks in running.
Listen, I I when there's an album that I'm don't get sick of, that I can keep playing. And that one is one for me right now. So that's really been grabbing all my attention.
I have not been listening to much of anything because I've been grading and dealing with my life. But
into the semester.
Done, baby. One more class to grade.
All classes are done?
Well, I didn't get that many classes this year, but I just have to turn in the grades for one other class, and I am outie 5,000.
Yeah, LIU class is done too, right?
Everything. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Everything. They're all done. I just have to get the grades in for one more class.
When do you know if they ask you back for next year? Did they tell you that at the end of a semester, or is that kind of...
I know for one school already.
Yeah.
CUNY is a mess. I will come back, but who knows what I have.
Right.
But that makes it really good to apply for discounts at things because you can go, I don't know what my income's going to be next year. And they believe you. Note to people listening to the show, always be nice to the government officials you're calling up when you want things. Because then they'll be nice to you. If you get on like, bah, 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 bah. Anyway, I've been listening to the new Madhu Makhtar album, Funeral for Justice. He's a Nigerian. Let me tell you, one of the loudest concerts I've ever been to, and this is saying a lot, was when I saw him at BAM. My ears were bleeding, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it was super loud. He's a guitarist. He's part of the...
Oh, yeah, you told me you were going. How was the show?
No, this was a long time ago. I saw him like a year ago.
What did you just see at BAM? You went to see
I just saw Jeff... oh, come on, Mills. I just saw Jeff Mills. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. And then I saw...
I love BAM. I love BAM.
Oh, it's a great place to see a show.
Yeah.
It's a great... it's great. And you get you sit and it's kind of civilized and you can dance like that. No, it was great. Anyway, it's his new album. He was a big critic. He's been around for a while, but he was a big critic's favorite on his last record. Made a lot of top 10 year best records. This is called Funeral for Justice. It's much more political. Of course, not speaking the language that he speaks. I don't really know that unless he is singing in English at some point. I can't really tell, but he's a phenomenal guitar player. He's in that group of guitar players, the Sahara blues guitar, just like Bombino. But when you go to his shows, it's so frenetic and so loud and so just like a frenzy. It's he's just great. So I'm listening to that, but it was so intense. I put it on and I was like, I need a moment. And then I go back to Pet Shop Boys to calm myself.
Yeah, this Pet Shop Boy album.
It's great. It's lingering. It's lingering with us.
It's absolutely still kind of giving me full rotation over here.
You know why? Good. Because all their records are great, but I think this record is got a lot more layers to it. Because there is the dance element, of course, but their song, we go over this. God, you guys must be sick of us talking about the Knicks and the Pet Shop Boys. But
I think it's because to me, it's like they're talking about...
They're grown up.
And he's talking about all of the queer stuff. And, he's about to turn 70. I'm about to turn 57 this summer. And I just been thinking a lot about back over life and when I was younger.
Yeah.
Being a gay man at this point in my life versus younger and just certain things that change. And it's really reflective. And it's really resonating with me because a lot of it, the theme is very familiar.
A lot of my gay male friends have said the same. Who are already fans, but as a straight woman, I'm just saying, yeah, you do reach a point in your life where you are looking backwards, and not in a sentimental way, but in a realistic way, in a very realistic way.
Because life is changing. It's like as I get closer to 60 and just there's a part of almost, especially in the gay community, as you get older, you can feel a little erased and invisible because a lot of it is really centered around being young and going out and that thing. And as you get older, I've noticed a lot of the older gay things in New York have kind of disappeared. Like even the sort of older old man bars have disappeared. There's no real gap.
Is Julius still there?
Yes. Well, Julius has been declared
a landmark.
A landmark.
Oh,
so
good.
yeah, so it's there and it's done and it's a thing and it's great, right? But that's one place.
Right. Is Marie Crisis still there?
I believe it is.
I've never been to Marie Crisis. But I always want. No, I mean, I absolutely hear you. I mean, older women are also a race. If you talk to any of your older, but the only difference is that they then will celebrate the idea of being an older woman, and it's the 50 is the new 60 or 60 is the new 50 or whatever the hell it is. So no, but it's just a really, really great record, and we always say that. But it is, I mean, it's just a lot of layers. It's tight. It's a tight record. 10 tracks. You don't have to, you can listen to it. Yeah, they're great. So I'm going back to listening to it a lot. I know there's all this new stuff coming out, right? There's it's going to be summertime and a whole lot of records are going to come out.
But it doesn't seem like, is there anything that's seemingly coming that seems exciting? It doesn't feel that way. It's like, it doesn't feel like there's some big artist that's coming. Like it's interesting. Justin Timberlake has just completely fallen off. Good. And they say he's having trouble selling concert tickets.
Good.
It's like the Beyonce album is done, right? That's out there. So there's nothing new.
I really do think that at this point in the game, Taylor comes out and everybody goes, I'll wait.
And then I think that even if Rihanna dropped a record, right? I
don't want her to at this point.
Yeah, it feels like what's that going to be?
I don't want her to. I mean, and that's not because I don't love her, because I think Rihanna is the real deal. I think in a lot of ways she's relatable, even though she's completely unrelatable. But she's the real deal. She's always been the real deal, and she's always been. I never get a sense that a stylist is putting her together. I mean, even though a stylist is obviously putting her together, but she just feels like she's the real deal. But what's she gonna? I mean, at this point, it's like she's done it. She doesn't need a record. She doesn't need it. I would rather her not put out a record and go out on top than put out a record that doesn't connect. Because I'd hate the line to be, and then her last album flop. She's done. She's good. You know what I mean? She doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. She's got adorable children. She makes more money than God. She's like minting money at this point.
And the truth of the matter is, everybody knows you just don't make any money from your record anymore. You have to go out on tour. So I feel like if she was going to put out a record, she'd have to plan a tour. Yeah. And she don't seem like she's in the vibe for that right
No, she's fine. Let her.
And I'm not mad at her.
She'll go to India, make $1 gazillion for like dancing for somebody.
She's like, look, I have a new Fenty skin. It's luminescent, honey. It's dewy.
Yeah, look at me.
Available now.
I have some new bras coming out. Ka-ching. And I have really cute kids with very unfortunate names, but adorable. Adorable children. And I have an adorable husband, and everybody's adorable. Oh, that stupid Lana Del Rey has a record coming out soon.
Yeah, but you know what? When her records come out, let's face it, it's hardcore fans love it. No one else cares.
Nobody else cares.
No one else.
And there's a Talking Heads tribute record coming out at the end of the week, which I think we'll have to listen to. That'll be sort of funny.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
There's a Talking Heads
revival. The lineup
is
cute. The lineup is interested on that, so we'll see.
We'll see. All right, take us out.
All right, you know what it is, kids. Blah, blah, blah. Shoo-shoo-sha, boo, boo, boo. You're listening to us on the Pantheon Podcast Network, the #1 music podcast network in the world. Globally, that's everywhere.
The world.
That's from Malaysia to
Eurasia.
To Jamaica, honey.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know what it is. You can also now follow us we're on YouTube. Our show is there. And so you can just be like, Alexa, play ImmaLetYouFinish podcast, and we should pop up. And you can follow us on all of our socials, especially our Facebook page, where ever since, some of you had a little bit of a hand slap, everyone has been behaving. And we absolutely appreciate we appreciate you guys not trying to kill each other in the comments like you.
Yes, we do appreciate that.
And I have figured out that I think we got blocked by somebody that we love.
Oh, you told me that. Or are you unblocked now?
Yeah. No, I don't think we are, but I think it was because of the comments. Because it wasn't us.
Life will go on.
We'll
work that out.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week. Bye, Toodles.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.